Well, it's 6 in the morning, and I'm kind of going over in my mind what I've learned today. I started the day off with my gears. They're not the change gears, but they're the drive gears for the feed screw and the lead screw, the feed rod and the lead screw. Now, I stated before, when I received this machine, one gear was off. It was just floating down in the housing, and I found another piece in the chip pan. That was the retaining washer, kind of a modified washer to keep that gear on. So on part 2 of understanding my gearbox, I thought I had it. Exchanged this gear for this gear. And then somebody, I think Daniel Abbey, pointed out to me that it's not A, B, C, and D gears, it's A, B, and C. There are only 3 gears in play. So, when I received the machine, the logical thing to do was to add that gear, and that made all the gears mesh together. Put the gear in the right place, but it's not supposed to be in play. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So it's all gonna, this is on a wide angle. It all kind of, it all comes down to this spacer here. Okay, when I received the lathe, this spacer was on the inside of this gear, which put this gear out here, which lined up perfectly with this gear. Well, this spacer belongs on the outside of the gear, A, B, and C. This is just stored here. It's just riding along for the ride. It's just in storage. And that is if I ever need to do 11.5 or pipe threads, as I understand it. So basically what I ended up doing was taking this spacer from back here and moving it on the other side of the gear, which made these 3 gears in a plane together. I had to take the banjo off and break the nut there. I had to use some heat. It wasn't just going to come loose easily. So that kind of explains that gearbox. Okay, now this gearbox is in play when you're threading or when you're feeding. Okay, so that kind of sums up that. Now anybody who's watched any of my videos recently, there's a lot of clanging, a lot of gear gnashing, and a lot of gear clanging, and that is, let me just bring you over here. Okay, this lever here is what changes the feed direction, whether you're using the half nut or whether you're using the feed drive rod. So this is right to left, neutral, left to right. Okay, when you're hearing that clanking and banging, that's when this thing is not completely engaged. Okay, now depending on how many threads per inch you're cutting, in other words, where this is, you change the size of a gear, you change the torque. So your speeds have to reflect that. If you have high torque, you need a lower speed. Now, I'm just speculating now. If you have high torque, you need a lower speed with more torque to move the chuck. So I did find that here is an adjustment screw that is for adjusting the engagement of this lever with the gears that are in the gearbox. So I did get that adjusted, and things are good there. Hey guys, it was suggested to me that I only need to be running on 3 gears. Ignore C, A, B, and D. That's what I need. Let me double check that. Okay, here we go. I think I see the problem. You only need 3 gears in the gear train, not 4. Just okay, I have my going out to fancy restaurant clothes on, yet I still find myself out here messing with greasy gears. I did get the banjo freed up. I took it off, put it on the vise, put some heat on the nut, and got that going. I put a thin layer of grease here and here, and this needs to be just so. Okay, so we're going to go with A. Now, the A gear has 2 keys. One seems to be longer than the other one. So put this one in here. And this one here. It goes this way. Get this turned around. I think it wants to go that way, but it looks like it's been beat into submission. Go this way. So let's get that on there. That's 2 keys. Beautiful. Beauty. And we'll get its retaining nut on there. And that is stationary, and it is basically just an idler. I really need to get an impact and hit that lightly with an impact. So my next gear is going to have to be the 108, which might be actually something other than a 108. Let's see if I can get into my phone, my dirty thing. There it is. 72, 72, the big 106 tooth. So I could have miscounted. So that's going to go here. So this is going to go on here. In the wrong way. This is going to go this way. Now just for FYI, there is a hole here on top of this, and it goes diagonally through this. See that? So for whatever reason, just a point of interest. So this collar will go on here. Okay, it's got the key in it already, and that's going to be what I'm calling 108, and it's got this little ring we're going to set aside. We're going to put that gear on, and that is keyed. Right there. And I'm going to I need to move it down the banjo. And I'm going to put that collar locking ring on there maybe. Doesn't matter which way that goes. Now, hopefully D is going to engage there. All this stuff should just slip right on. And it does. Okay, we're getting pretty close to breaking through. I upped my RPMs to 314. We're in 2.5 inches. We're drilling 15/16. And we are going to thread this to whatever the appropriate pitch is for 1 inch. Yet to be determined in my mind. This stuff flakes off like aluminum. And we should be popping through here really soon.